questions and reviews on our experience renting a CANADREAM Super Camper. So we're gonna have a list of questions here that we want to answer because those were some questions we thought of when we rented our RV. Hi guys, and welcome to our Q&A.
Welcome.
My name's Diana.
I'm Wes.
And we are from My Big Trips.
Check us out.
What not to do while RVing.
What not to do? I recommend buying the proper toilet paper because our toilet did get clogged and it kept getting clogged
multiple times.
because we were using Costco toilet paper that is 2-ply and it is
septic.
approved for septic tanks,
yeah.
But an RV tank is apparently a lot more sensitive, and they literally recommend you to only get 1-ply toilet paper.
Do it.
And do it. It's gonna be worth it. It would cost maybe $20 to buy enough toilet paper for a month, or maybe $5 to $10 per week. And because they do sell it at the CANADREAM, I would recommend buy it because in the end I had to buy a snake for $30 to unclog the toilet, and I ended up having to use it like 3 times, and we ended up choosing it was pretty bad, just to put the toilet paper in a bag and just throw it out daily.
Give your kids if they're prone to car sickness, and your dogs gravel.
Yeah, we gave gravel to the one dog, and actually maybe over time the one dog almost seemed to build immunity because I think we forgot a couple times. Right? She even spat out the pill once that we found a few days later. So we're like, hey, she must have been fine, because normally she would get nervous and anxious and then she would throw up. So after a few days of driving in the RV, she didn't seem to be getting nauseous anymore. But our kids, they have to have gravel or they would have thrown up. And actually they did throw up, both of them together 3 times.
Well, one threw up one time, that was Levi. We forgot to give him gravel, and then the other 2 times Amelia. But it's because we had a big drive.
She normally didn't get sick, but we had a really windy road and bumpy road.
It was an 8-hour drive both times, so it was a lot for her.
What was the question again?
What not to do while RVing. Oh, and if you're in the front and you're trying to take care of your kids while you're in the passenger seat, don't look back and windy roads, or you too will get nauseous.
Yeah, even you got nauseous. And then,
twice, really bad.
What else? What not to do? Let the lights on outside of the RV when you're at a campground, because honestly, mosquitoes come in like crazy. There's one light next to the RV door usually. I left it on and I literally just got the dogs in and out, and there was 6 mosquitoes flew inside, and they're not fun.
And also remember to check all around your RV before you drive off.
Yes.
You don't want to leave any hatches open, the fans open. It's gonna be chaotic when you're driving and you forget something like that.
Yes, we did have it at least once each of those things where we're like, oh, we left the hatch open, or then we had to stop, closed it, then we got back on the road, oh, we left the roof vent open, and then there's one roof vent that it sucks all the air very powerfully, but if you leave that open and the fan running, it actually pulls air from inside outside, and if you have all the windows closed, it actually pulls air and the stank out of your toilet, so it actually draws air somehow through the toilet tank.
Oh yeah, and don't forget those blue tablets they give you at CANADREAM, and you have to buy.
You have to buy them for $2.
They give you 4 at the beginning, and then you have to buy the rest.
I thought they only gave us 1, but
no, they give you 4, but you have to buy. Just get what they offer you, because you will have stank.
You don't want your RV to smell like a porta potty. Literally, it would otherwise smell like a porta potty.
Yeah. So
you have to put one of those in there every time, and definitely put the bucket of water in the toilet when you empty out the black water every time. It is highly recommended.
It's a must
because it will remove the smells so that it stays smelling nice instead of over time starts to stink.
Yes. And try to keep your showers short if you wanna keep
tours, and then sometimes we were out of location, and then all the campsites were full because of COVID, so we had to drive over an hour to another campsite, and then the next day we would come back, for example, to Banff, which was an hour away. Then we stayed in Jasper area. We had to drive an hour and a half the next day just to Jasper, and then an hour and a half back to Valemount. And overall, yeah, we drove about 10,800 kilometers.
So about 5 days of driving.
Each way. Well, yeah, I mean, 48 hours each way, approximately.
Yes.
On the way back, I don't know, we took detours. We went to Drumheller instead of going on the Trans-Canada Highway. So, yeah.
What were our favorite locations?
Our favorite locations were Sault Ste. Marie, even though we're not even 100% sure why. We just seemed to enjoy the people. The people we happened to meet were very nice. The places seemed very good.
The KOA
campsite in Sault Ste. Marie is beautiful, but we were not the happiest with the staff there. I think some of the younger staff was great, but there was a couple older, or not necessarily older, but just, what do you call that?
No comment. Yeah, we had some encounters with some of the staff that wasn't pleasant, but overall experience at Sault Ste. Marie was beautiful. We loved the lakes. We got to go fishing and swimming. There were these crazy bugs that bit the kids and took chunks out of them, so be aware
but we
of that.
still loved it over there.
We loved it.
And then we love Kamloops.
Yes.
It's just, the atmosphere is, I don't know, it's
very
different.
welcoming. Yeah.
It's wine country. It's the Okanagan Valley areas. It's just really, it's much warmer there. It's very like almost desert looking. Like it almost looks like a desert.
It's very southern, yeah.
It's
very nice.
I don't know, we enjoyed it there.
And Whistler, that was my favorite.
Whistler, the actual town itself was
Whistler Village
really
was
nice.
really pretty. Yeah.
We expected more from Banff.
Banff
But we
was
did like it.
beautiful. And Lake Louise, it just leaves you speechless. It's just, wow,
Yeah.
very scenic.
And there are more lakes, like in the same area. We saw Bow Lake.
Bow Lake was amazing.
Bow Lake was very nice. Like, I'm like, this is like just here on the side of the road. Like, what?
Yeah, people should go there more often, even though it's just on the side of the road. And even some of the falls, like the waterfalls we saw on the sides of multiple roads that people don't know of. You just see them on the, like, while you're driving. Definitely you have to check those out.
Yes.
Was this trip all you expected?
Yes, it was.
And more.
And more. Yes, it was amazing. Some places we expected a little more. Other
Yeah.
places we were surprised that it was so nice and it was so random. And then, of course, having to deal with our dogs and kids, it's not as relaxing because a lot of people
tiring.
will go to relax. Well, for us, it was to sightsee. It wasn't so much for, relaxing.
Although
Otherwise, we would have
Whistler,
just
we did
laid down.
relax, yeah.
Otherwise, we would have just gone somewhere where we lay on the beach and
A resort.
a resort and have them serve us drinks and take care of
This
our
was
kids
more
or
to
something.
explore Canada and just get to know where we live and the places we wanted to see for a while and had not been able to see.
Yes. And honestly, 1 month is not enough.
Like BC on its own would have been the whole trip.
It's just crazy how big Canada is, and it's just like we didn't see enough. Like there was too many stops. We're like, oh, should we stop there? We don't have time. Oh, it's gonna take too long, and there's too much to see. Like honestly, you need to take half a year just to see Canada.
Or just come back multiple times.
That works too.
I think we're gonna go back to BC. That was our favorite province overall.
Yes. Well, I love Alberta as well. It's
Alberta was beautiful, but I don't know, there's something about BC and the mountains and those windy roads up north. I just fell in love with Whistler. Like, I would love to go back there again. Just because you can do a lot of summer things and you can be there in the winter as well. Would you do this trip again? RV again?
We would RV again, definitely. We really want to go through the U.S. Prefer.
But the kids are older, especially Amelia. Amelia's just under 2 years old, and Is it too much work to take care of her while you're on the road?
And she gets
still
tired.
naps. Yeah.
Her butt's probably hurting from sitting.
The car seat, yeah.
So most of the time she could only sit for an hour to an hour and a half at a time. And when you have like an 8-hour drive to do, it's not really
fun
good.
stopping so much because you don't get that far quick enough. So what we would do sometimes is just drive in the evening. We put the kids to bed and put their seatbelts on and just drive for 4 hours straight. Because during the day it's breakfast, then you need a break, then you need to get their energy out, then it's lunch, then it's nap time, which is we would take advantage of nap time, and then again it's dinner time. So it was just a constant routine on the road.
If you have kids over 5, I think that's what is recommended.
Perfect age. Try had a blast.
Kids under 5 will be a bit more work. Yeah, it really is. Because Levi was quite good. Like, he could be playing outside on his own. You don't have to keep an eye on him 100% of the time. While Amelia, you have to keep an eye on that she doesn't go to the fire and try and stick her hand in or fall on the fire, or
go around the RVing or
sharp,
run off.
prickly bushes, or if there's a cliff. So it's,
Whistler, we stayed where there was like this cliff, or I don't know what they call it.
The ridge.
The ridge. And thankfully we got a good location where the bridge wasn't showing too much. But if we would have gotten the other
like
RV
a drop
sites,
off,
it
like
was
20,
like
30 feet straight, if not more.
A drop. I would have just changed our site because with her it would not have been safe. And even with Levi is daredevil. He is not scared of heights. He'll climb up mountains, trees, whatever it is. So we also have to keep an eye on him. So with younger kids it's just a little bit trickier, but it's doable. You can do it if you have the energy for it. The review on the CANADREAM Super Camper. Would you recommend this RV?
Yes, I know it is one of their smaller ones. They have one of the pickup ones. It's on the back of a pickup truck. Then they have the small 2-person, the deluxe camper. And then they have the SVC, the Super Camper, the one we rented. Then they have 2 more levels that are bigger.
Yeah.
However, the bigger you go, the more fuel you're gonna be using. So, the
harder it is to go up a mountain.
Oh yeah, they seem to have the same engine. It's a V10 engine. I don't know how much horsepower, but for us, the small one, it was perfect. Like, it had good power. We had only trouble going up and down like 4 or 5 mountains overall. Like, it overall was very good. Size, it was smaller, but it was still everything you need. Like, there was storage enough underneath and inside. The bed was just fine. It was actually more comfortable than I expected. The maintenance was done well on the RV because we literally drove around 11,000 kilometers and we had 0 problems. No flat tires, no oil checks needed. I checked the oil once after around 5,000 or 6,000 kilometers and it was just perfect still. They do recommend checking it every time you fuel up, but that's like every day. So I only chose to check it one time, and it was above necessary, or it was a little above the mid-level. So I just always kept an eye on the oil temperatures and everything on the dash to make sure you're going up a mountain, nothing's overheating. But honestly, I'm happy with that. We did, of course, pray. We prayed that God would keep us safe and that we had the right RV, and we had 0 problems. Not even a stone chip, not a flat tire, nothing.
No accidents.
No accidents. And we've seen animals on the middle of the road at night, and we've seen them on time, or they were stayed away by the road, on the side of the road. And they highly recommend not to drive at night because that's when animals come out. And I have driven one time between Sault Ste. Marie and Thunder Bay, or even up to Winnipeg at night. And me and my brother drove once, and we probably, each of us, saw at least 20 or 30 deer. And it was a miracle we didn't hit anything that time too. So, yeah.
Yeah, like we saw a lot of deers, and when I was driving in the evening, we tried to stay driving in the evening until it got dark, and then once it was dark, we decided to stop, especially around the mountain areas like Alberta and BC and anything in Ontario. Saskatchewan and Manitoba is flat, and rarely you'll see animals there.
You did see 4 deer there.
That was in
and
Manitoba.
I seen some raccoons.
That was in Manitoba once we're almost entering Ontario. But
we drove a few times at night, yeah. Thunderstorm at night. That was kind of awesome though, because it was not really storming where we were, but it was
around us.
It probably was 3 or 4 thunderstorms, and it was literally all around us. But we were staying dry for the most part. It only rained maybe for an hour or something, and it was light rain overall. It was not, or maybe I slowed down for 5 minutes because it was pouring for 5 minutes, but then it was good. It was basically like you're at a disco. The flashing lights just everywhere, strobe lights like non-stop everywhere around you for hours. Like I was driving for 3-4 hours, and it was just flashing all around non-stop. If you see one of our other videos about Winnipeg,
like
you'll
the
probably
when
see
we
it.
go from Ontario to Alberta. And yes, I mean we did have one crazy storm in Thunder Bay when we were leaving Kakabeka Falls on the way back, and it was hailing, and they recommend not to go through those type of storms, but we were stuck in it, so we had to stop down. And
we were trying to outrun it basically because we saw it coming behind us, and we're like, we need to keep driving so that we're not going to be caught in it. But then there was just construction, and we were standing still for a bit, and that's when the storm just rolled in. And those plastic roof vents on the roof are, some of them, like the skylight in the bathroom and the skylight in the dinette, they're so thin. I was like, oh my goodness, I hope the hill doesn't go straight through it.
You'll see it in one of those videos that we recorded that part. It was just crazy.
Hello guys!
Stretch break here with this Q&A.
I need to make a pee-pee sound.
You know that's going on the video, right? I could not go to a pit stop here because it was disgusting.
Porta potties.
Okay, so what were our favorites from the RV?
Favorites. You got everything you need in one place.
I think that's our top one, yeah, for both of us.
We sometimes stop overnight at a Walmart. You wake up, you go get some eggs and bacon and whatever you want to eat for the breakfast. You just go get it, come back, cook it up, get dressed, have a shower, whatever you want, and then
watch
you just
a movie while you're doing it.
While you're doing it.
Watch a movie while you're making breakfast.
Anyways, yeah, it's all possible.
Watch a movie while you're having breakfast with your family.
Okay.
Keep this PG.
Okay. Hey, we're married here. Anyways, so yeah, you have everything ready. You go to the beach. You get your chairs, your camping chairs. You have your sunscreen, your bug spray,
your children,
your dogs. You have everything there. It's like you literally have a house, and it's on the road, and you can go wherever you want. Some nights you can stay somewhere for free. Other nights, if you want to pay for a nicer campground, you can pay something.
And you can have a fire pit, and then connect everything, have a long shower, use up all the electricity you want. But if you don't, then you just stay at a parking lot for free.
And you drive. When you drive, the batteries charge, and then it will use the furnace. I believe you don't need to use the generator. A few times we stayed, and no, it doesn't. Well, it uses the propane. And if your batteries are charged, it just uses the fan from your batteries. When you turn the heat on, you turn up that heat. You don't need the generator. You just have your own battery power and the propane. And the propane is cheap, so yeah.
Yes, and also the size of our RV was perfect. It was easy to drive, maneuver around. When your RV is too big, it gets a lot tougher to park anywhere. By the way, you can't go through drive-through, so most of the time we have to walk up to different food places. On the last day, I actually had to go walk through the drive-through because
I I did that in the
places
beginning in
closed.
Ontario. It's so awkward,
It's
but
just so weird because cars are staring at you and you're just there. Well, I was
that was due to COVID-19. Otherwise, normally you can go out inside, but we had to go stand in the drive-through lineup. So I skipped the line a couple times. I just stood up to the window and made my order. So
I didn't,
yep.
but I stood behind a car, and then this other car was behind me. Alright, and our dislikes. I think the thing I disliked most about the RV was the technology. For being 2020, they should have updated TVs and entertainment systems and sound systems for the day and age that we're living in. They should have smart TVs by now that you're able to hook up your devices, either AirDrop or Bluetooth, no problem. With the DVD player, it had so many issues, and there is
some DVDs worked, some didn't.
Yeah.
And other times the one that worked last time is not working this time. So
and then at the end it wasn't working at all.
and they're brand new DVDs. If you're wondering if they're just old DVDs, no, we bought probably 20 DVDs
Yeah.
since we started our trip, just so that the kids had movies, because we thought in the beginning we could use internet, that later we found out wasn't working. So we bought DVDs, and in the end, buying $5 DVDs, some of them actually had 2 movies, or we even bought one that had 6 movies on it. That's the one that didn't work, or even 8 movies on it. But it was only $5, and it had 6 or 8 movies on one DVD. So in the end, it's cheaper for us to buy DVDs if we can't even use the internet to watch Netflix for the kids. It's
The
mainly
travel
for the
tab,
kids' entertainment.
The travel tab was about $500 for the 4 weeks.
160.
Oh, that's with the tax. Yeah.
Okay.
So we decided to buy the DVDs, but I think CANADREAM should invest in.
They did reimburse us, by the way.
They did reimburse us. They were their customer service is A-class, but I think they should.
The in-person one, or is it also the
No, everyone,
phone?
even
Yeah?
on the phone, everyone was very nice to talk to them. But I think they should upgrade their TVs to smart TVs because they're not that crazy. And I think it would be, if you're renting an RV and you want to have the best experience,
And have a better DVD player.
or I think it's just a matter of being able to connect your devices to stream your movies and watch them on there. It's so much easier.
Yeah. They did have a USB plug on the DVD player, but nowadays we don't even put movies on a USB anymore to plug it into anything.
But you can do
you
that.
have it on your phone, or you have it on a tablet, and you should be able to air stream. What do you call it?
AirDrop or stream, just live stream from your device.
Yeah.
I think that's what they should have in Apple TV, smart TV.
Apple TV.
Oh yeah, the Apple TV that you can connect to the TV, so that you're able to just watch everything that's on your phone, because that's the day and age we're in now. Everyone has an iPhone, a smartphone. Just
Even
use the
when
technology.
camping, so.
Charge a little bit more, people get more entertainment. It's easier for people who are making long drives with kids, because there were times that we would have been able to drive more if we would have had that entertainment at our hands. But because the DVD wasn't working, we weren't able to let our kids watch TV that would have entertainment for longer periods of time. Alright guys, we want to give you our ratings on this RV. We want to give you our 1 to 5-star ratings based on comfort, durability, enjoyment, and driving experience. So on comfort, I'd give it a 4.
4.
Yeah.
Mine.
Because I would have liked to rent the other one with the recliner chairs to watch TV.
I know, they should have offered the option to see the other one, or to...
The thing is that they did not upsell, and I like that because they committed to the one
and
that
then
you
it's also
wanted.
because of COVID-19. I think they don't want you to go and see and touch everything, because then they have to
Sanitation reasons.
sanitize everything in between. I would say 4 as well, or maybe even 4.5. The only reason that the passenger seat was not as comfortable as the driver's seat, and then the bench, it's a cheap material to
Well, the
sit
bench,
on.
there's the middle piece, it kept coming off. I don't know why.
Well, it's because it's meant to be a bed, I guess. But I don't know, because of the bench, a 4 to 4.5, and that chair, the driver's seat was softer, it was comfier. The bed itself was very comfortable.
Amazing.
So
yes,
I would say that yes,
I would give that bed a 10. Honestly, for
an RV bed, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. All right, for durability, I give it a 5.
Durability, I will give it a 5 as well. We hit some bumps, stuff went flying in the drawers, in the cupboards.
We only broke one cup, guys, and then we replaced it.
I broke it twice. I broke the same cup. Well, the one I bought, I broke it, so in the end,
sorry, guys.
It does have a cup missing, but I bought a new one at Walmart for $1. It looked identical to the one I had, and then I broke it again. I was just using the brush we bought to do the dishes instead of using the scrubby.
The sponge.
So, yeah,
Yes.
that's it. Overall,
For
great.
enjoyment, we enjoyed this RV to the max.
Yes.
We drove like nobody can drive. 11,000 kilometers and 28 days of rental. I think we really submerged ourselves in the driving experience and the RV life.
We had, stopped at awesome stops, and
We went through rain, sunshine, evening drives,
morning drives,
hail drives.
yes,
Our driving experience. I drove the RV, and for me to drive a big truck was very different because that thing looks mad wide. Like, in my other hand. It was so wide, and I'm like, how is this gonna fit through this lane? But
honestly, you had only like maybe not even a foot of space to spare on each side, and sometimes there was construction zones with a big concrete wall next to the lane that you're in, and you're like, oh my goodness, like you better keep a bit more to the left, because a few times I almost hit that wall because it's just you're going fast, and it's like reduced space lanes or narrow lanes, and you're like, oh my goodness, and there's a transport truck on one side, a concrete wall on the other. You're like, this is, you better either slow down or speed up. So
I have a newfound respect for truck drivers.
Yes.
Honestly, they are superheroes because driving those things and at the speeds they drive. You're driving some of the other smaller cars.
well, they have deadlines. They gotta keep it going, and
That was crazy.
yeah. And then how people cut you off in front of a truck, or if I see people, like, I'm gonna keep space now from a truck because trucks take more time to slow down, and people will just go in front of you like they don't care.
This is not part of the video. Yes, we are in Wes's EMT car. Drive like
I miss driving this compared to a truck. This thing is like,
what are some RV essentials? A speed car. What are some RV essentials?
the toilet paper, the chemical for your toilet, you need an axe if you want to have awesome campfires, and you buy a bag of wood. They only give you big blocks of wood usually, so you have to chop them up in little pieces, or some campgrounds will offer you a starter pack to light up the fire.
You need a lighter
You need a barbecue lighter
for your kitchen because the pilot light is apparently
deactivated.
Yeah, they
And
told
that's
us
why I'm
today.
surprised they didn't even come with a barbecue lighter if they deactivated the
Pilot light.
the clicker on your stove, but that's for child safety reasons. So you need
Drinkable water.
you need to bring bottled water. But honestly, if you go to Walmart or a grocery store, they're only $2 or $3 per 24 half-liter bottles.
Yeah.
So we try to keep at least 3 to 5 on average, actually, at all times. So
The RV comes